Is my mic okay? Yeah?
Jim's mic speeding.
Okay.
Is my mic okay?
Yes, I think so.
Do I look fat?
This is gonna be, this is gonna be so good.
I don't care unless I got you. Say, baby, I love you. Tell me the same. I don't care unless I got you. I won't say it if it's not true. I don't care unless I got you. Just call me the way you want to. I don't care unless I got you. Say, baby, I love you. Tell me the same. I don't care unless I got you. Just call me the way you want to.
Hey, welcome back to Tastemakers. Thanks for joining us this week. It's a golden week. We have Carmen McGee with the Golden Fort Wayne.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. So, how's life since opening this joint?
Well, it's calmed down. The first, I would say, 3 months were complete insanity.
Yeah.
It's just a blur. And then we kind of settled into a routine, and now we're about 9 months in. Our first year anniversary will be June 3rd.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Good.
It's been fun. It's been life-changing,
Yeah.
challenging, but really a blast. It's awesome to be downtown,
Yeah.
and it's been good.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, when you kind of started this venture, I remember seeing you in between there every now and then, and you guys didn't really do anything for a year, is that right? Or as you were leaving one and kind of starting
Well,
this?
our last days at DeQueez ended on December 31st, 2015. And then we were doing some pop-ups and basically building this place for the first 6 months of 2016. So we opened June 3rd. We had some soft openings mid-May, beginning of May.
Now these pop-up, these were the things that like Fancy and Staple, just like kind of
Yeah.
going, making drinks and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I should back way up.
That's fine.
The Golden started as a pop-up. Just basically, we're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there were cocktail parties and chefs made drinks, like chefs make, menu items like food. And so that's where the whole Golden idea started. And the concept was pop-up bars.
Did it start because like you wanted to do something different, or like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Or do you wanted to be a little more creative, or
yeah,
just
I mean,
create
I
a
think
culture?
for Aaron and Sean, they were looking to do something really fun, really exciting, trying to blow Fort Wayne up,
Yeah.
really just get Fort Wayne excited about things. And doing that actually worked. And, I told them they couldn't do it without me. They need me, right?
Right. So then what was
To organize.
What was your role kind of in doing that?
Basically like organization and doing things like, oh gosh, I don't know. Just, they're the creatives and I'm like the admin side of it. Like I'll do everything else and they can just create and I'll promote it and I'll, make the tickets and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, but you are kind of a recognizable face. I mean, people come in here and like, where's Carmen?
it's funny. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do feel guilty if I'm not here, for
Really?
sure. Yeah.
So would you feel like this is your first home and your residence is your second home?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think I feel at home in both places.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel at home here. And yeah, I mean, if I'm gone a day or a night and I miss people, I do feel bad. I mean, but yeah, it's home for sure.
I mean, that's probably from a sense of passion though, for like serving people, or
Yes.
just kind of the culture of late
Yeah,
night dining.
I mean, I would say service, hospitality.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for so long, it's really in my nature.
Okay.
And honestly, if you or any of my friends or anybody actually walks in the front door, I'm like, hey, even if I'm way back here, I'm like, hi. I'm just like, so happy to see,
Yeah.
So happy to see somebody, you
Now,
know?
was it always like that, even before you kind of like worked at Just the Quee? And like, was when you were a kid, were you super friendly like that?
Probably.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably.
So it was just carried over and just kind of became the natural course?
I think maybe it has. That is an interesting way to look at it, but yeah, probably. I'm always happy to see people, and I just like being with friends, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like every day at lunch or dinner, I feel like I'm with a bunch of friends.
It's like you're having a bunch of people over for dinner.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And I really like to make people happy and serve them wine or cocktails. And, you know, obviously Sean and Aaron are really into food. So I know
I've heard the stories of Sean cooking
I know
late.
I know they've got that down. So I'm never worried about how the food part's gonna go.
Yeah.
But you know, service is very important, and I really want people to love the Golden.
Mhm.
I want people to come in here and feel comfortable and just want to come back, you know?
So when you were doing the design of the restaurant and all that, was that kind of at the forefront of your mind? How can we make this place super dope, or like
Yes.
a place where people want to come and enjoy?
For sure. We had so many ideas. So many ideas. Sean's big idea was this giant marble bar,
Yeah?
and it came to fruition. It wasn't easy.
No?
My ideas were the chairs. I had to have these Knoll chairs. I mean, I had to have them.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And so there are certain things that we all really wanted. Aaron wanted that Heston suite, the big stove. We all wanted the wine wall. And it just all kind of came together. And we just wanted Fort Wayne to be spoiled by a beautiful restaurant that was accessible.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to have $1 million to come in here. You can come in here, have a burger and fries and chicken wings.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, or you can have a glass of wine and a steak.
Mhm.
It's really everything that we were trying to go for. We want Fort Wayne to love downtown and love the Golden.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of have it here. You got simple $2
Box of
beer
beer,
on the menu.
right.
Then you got your fancy wine over here.
Right, and on Fridays it's $1. I mean, it's $1. You could have 20 beers for $20. Not that you would, but you know what I mean?
With some people, maybe.
With a group of people, you could,
Yeah.
you know? So it's an accessible place with just a beautiful building.
So then, do you think that by offering both the highs and not really the highs and lows, but kind of the burger all the way up to this fancy steak
Yeah.
or fresh caught fish, is it kind of creating a new vibe or a new dining culture down here?
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely the point. And so this is our first winter. We weren't sure how that was going to go. We have a lot of farms, but we have one real specific farm growing for us, and they've been growing over the winter in, you know, covered beds.
Yeah.
And so
Just
we
for you. Nice.
Hawkins.
Okay.
Amazing.
Great
Hawkins.
people.
Cool.
Give
So
them a
we're getting
shout out.
greens all year. We're getting, you know, a lot of root vegetables, some potatoes, onions. I mean, it's funny because people come in here at lunch and they're like, well, no lunch, we have salad. 86 that. At dinner, people want salad or greens.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, you know what? We don't have a lot of greens left. We're holding it for lunch. And they're
Okay.
like, you know, well, why don't you have greens? Well, because there aren't a lot of greens growing right now.
Yeah.
It's a hard concept for people to get because in our day and age, we get whatever we want.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go to the store and buy it.
Do you think that it's kind of taken the high road though by doing it the way that you're doing it, or
Yeah.
kind of revolutionizing the way that food and eating and
It's taking the high road, and it's hard to take the high road.
aren't good things typically hard?
I guess that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love the story. Okay, when my mom was pregnant with me, this is 1970, she always tells this story, and she's like, you know, I craved watermelon when I was pregnant with you. And I was like, so why couldn't you have watermelon? She's like, well, it wasn't in season. You couldn't get watermelon. I'm like, why not? Well, you couldn't get watermelon if it was out of season, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to go back to that. Like, just try to eat what you can eat where you can get it instead of flying it from Argentina or, you know.
Freezing it for months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, same with all of our meats and eggs and everything. And I'm not trying to say anything's bad about that, but we are really trying and actually doing it. We are actually doing it.
When I think you're succeeding on, at least on some level, because I know for me personally, when I go to the grocery store, I don't want to go to the frozen section. I want to go to the fresh foods.
Yeah.
And even that, I want to go to a grocery store that's going to sell stuff that's from a farm, or go to the farmer's market downtown.
Yes.
So,
Well, farmers markets are the best places to go, and we go to them a lot too, especially over the winter. We're like just grabbing whatever we can grab.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect way to do it.
I mean, so clearly you're, changing the restaurant culture, but also kind of impacting people how they cook at home, which is amazing.
I mean, we hope so. I don't know. I hope people get it. Not everyone does, but that's how it is, you know.
Did you grow up that way? Is that kind of, your parents instilled that in you?
No.
Was it when you met Aaron? It's like, oh, we need to do this?
I would not even say that. I think Aaron and I even grew up the same way. Like, we're super normal, but oddly, we're very similar. We're both only children.
Okay, so am I.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
And my best friend Kim is also an only child.
What the frick?
Crazy.
Yes.
So I would imagine, like you, we're very independent.
Yep.
And very self-sufficient.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Driven a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Driven, competitive.
You competitive?
Aaron competitive, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, no, I mean, I think the way we ate was just super normal. We had really normal dinners, but like Aaron, I think his mom was a single mom. Okay. She worked a lot. I think he just ended up cooking a lot for himself. I mean, it's not a sob story. It's just, what you do.
It's reality.
Get home after school, you make something for yourself. But when we started at DeQuee's together in like 2000. And I think even at DeQuee's at that time, there was nothing revolutionary happening there. We had an awesome executive chef. She was very renowned in this city, and she was doing good things. She left, Aaron took over. Fast forward to Eshelman starting a farm, and that's when it all happened.
Yeah.
They started this farm, they started this vegetable garden, and that's when the real farm to fork started to happen, which was probably something like 2000, I don't know, 5 or 6, I don't know. They started raising their own cattle, eventually got their own pigs. Everything, we started sourcing everything out of the garden. And we would stop at the garden on the way into the restaurant and use the stuff. It was, that's how it happened.
The mentality.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you guys kind of started at Joseph DeQuee together.
Yes.
Were you guys married at this point? Is that how you met? Or like?
No,
I don't want to get super personal. But
No, actually, so we met at Paula's. I was a server.
On Main over here?
Paula's on Main.
Wow.
Still love it. Love Paula's.
It's like your go-to?
Oh, God, love it. Aaron was a line cook.
Yeah.
I was a server. The executive chef of Joseph DeQuee's, her husband worked at Paula's.
Okay.
And he's the one that turned us on to DeQuee's. He's like, hey, this place is going to open to the public. Right now it's a private little club, and you guys might want to check it out. So we both went down, applied. I applied for a server. He applied for a line cook. We got the job. We both started on the same day.
Really?
Yeah. Same day. It was like, I don't know, July 29th, 2000. We got married a couple years later.
No, were you dating when you guys started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you
we met at Paula's.
started
We were
at
dating.
Paula's.
We got married in my parents' backyard.
Okay.
Big tent and all that, and then had reception at Joseph DeQuee's.
Nice.
And then fast forward 15 years later, we quit Joseph DeQuee's on the same day. We started and quit on the same day, 15 years.
That's nuts.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
I know. It's crazy. But it worked, so.
So has it been a fun ride, like kind of going through Joseph
Yeah.
Taqui together, and then obviously having kids while you're there, and
Yep.
now you're a mom, and
yep.
starting this.
Yes. I mean, Joseph Teguise was a lot of fun for us, and it was a huge growing period. I mean, imagine 15 years of your life, how much you're going to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, let alone get married, have kids. It was wonderful, wonderful. We met a million people. The owners were great. We learned so much.
So much
then-
about food, or just so
So much about
life?
food, about life, about people, about wine, about catering, about weddings. We just, it was a lot, but it was great.
So then, how many kids do you have now?
2.
2? And I'm assuming no more.
No.
Don't want to adopt any of that. No more infants.
Oh, Lord, no.
So when kids came into play, did that kind of throw a monkey wrench in there of like, hey, you're working late nights doing this cooking and serving thing, but
Yes.
you got kids to take care of, and
Yeah, I mean,
you're
it
working
was,
late and you're pregnant.
Well, we work a lot. I worked, when I was pregnant with Zoe, who's my 13-year-old, she's my older
That's fun.
baby. I worked up until the day my water broke at Joseph Teguise.
Wow.
Aaron was in the kitchen, and I said, it was night, it was late at night, maybe 11 o'clock, and I said, hey, my water broke. And he's like, and he left. He left and he went home. And I was like, what are you doing? He's
He
like,
left
well, I'm
you
going.
there?
Yeah. So I closed the restaurant and I went home, and I got home. All the lights in the house were on. And he's like frantically like gathering. I'm like, what are you doing? We have to go to the hospital. And he's like, okay. And I was like, but I don't feel that bad. So we stopped at Walgreens. We got magazines
Are you
and
serious?
candy. Yeah,
Just kind of leisurely
we did.
pace.
We did.
That's hysterical.
I know. And then we got to the hospital and they're like, well, we'll put you in a room over here and wait, So it was all good.
So then when you
It's
had,
hilarious though.
It's pretty. I've never heard that.
It's
but-
funny.
So when you had Zoe and then you had Luca, right?
Luca was 2 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then trying to raise kids while working in this industry, I'm assuming that presents a few challenges as far as
It was
being
challenging.
able to get time.
I tell you, my mom and I live in the same neighborhood, and she lives literally like 1, 2, 3, 4 houses around, kind of like this.
Yeah.
She lives here and I live here.
Nice.
And my mom has raised my kids probably as much as I have.
Do you
I
think
mean,
that that's because your mom has raised your kids as much as you have? Is that kind of lessen the connection with them, or do you still feel like?
oh no, I think it's more of a family connection because it's all of us, you know? I mean, I love that she's a huge part of their life. I really value that. And so was my stepfather until he died a few years ago. But I mean, they took care of the kids. I feel so lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have never in 100 million years have done what I have done, and neither could have Aaron without my mom.
Yeah.
No way. No way. I mean, like Luca tonight is over at her house right now. And she still is driving them around. They're 11 and 13 now. I mean, she's driving them around. She's picking them up. She's doing everything. They spend the night when we have late nights. Luca, can you just go over to grandma's? I'm going to be really late. Yeah. And she just walks over.
Awesome.
It's amazing. I'm telling you.
So then, when you don't work the late nights and you guys get to go on a family vacation, do you value that time that much more? Or
Yes.
is it just kind of like going through another day, or like do you set aside time? I guess is what I'm asking. to,
Oh,
like, really
yeah.
invest in each other.
We
spend
do.
time with each other.
Yes. You mean me and the kids?
You and the kids, you, Aaron, the kids, like go on
Yeah.
a trip, just kind of get away from
We
this
do.
whole scene. And
We
just,
do. So our first trip, so we opened the Golden June 3rd, 2016. Our first trip together will be in a couple weeks. We're going to LA.
Wow. So you've been that busy. that you
Oh
haven't
yeah.
Really,
Well, no, we went to Michigan for 2 days
Okay.
as a family, the 4 of us.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
that's
2
not
days.
like 2 days off isn't really much of a vacation.
No, but we were really happy about it.
Yeah, I would bet.
Yeah,
Where are you going in LA? Where are you going in LA?
Well, we're going to go everywhere. But we have friends that live at the beach in Redondo. We're going to stay with them. But I used to live in LA.
Really?
Right after I graduated high school, I went to IU. And I mean, I went to IU.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. You did extracurriculars?
You know, I passed sailing, so I know how to sail. So I came home, and then I just needed to really think outside the box.
Home here?
Came back to
Because you were
Fort
born
Wayne.
and raised here, right?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Concordia High School. Yep.
And then went off to IU and did
Went to
sailing.
IU, passed sailing,
Yeah.
came home, moved to LA, and
Why'd you go to LA?
I had some friends there, and it seemed really appealing to me.
What was appealing about it?
California.
Yeah.
Just California, period.
It's a fun place.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of fun. I got a job in a diner in Beverly Hills. I worked there for
Ooh.
5 years. Yeah, and we traveled the whole world.
Really?
Yep.
So you just took some time and like you and your friends just went and traveled
We
places?
did. We
saw
got,
things?
you know, so I'm 19 and I landed this job. I don't even know how. I lied to them and told them I had serving experience, which I didn't. But I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And they hired me. And I made a ton of money as
You're
a
in Beverly
kid.
Hills.
Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
South Beverly Drive.
And so you used all that to just go see the world?
So we would just sock our money away and then get our shifts covered for like 2 weeks at a time. And we went to Mexico, went to Canada, we'd go skiing. We took 5 weeks off and went to Europe. I mean, it was really an awesome life. But it also got very expensive, and I got a little older. You know, I was like 25 and thinking, well, I need to do something new, and I'm gonna move home and save money.
Yeah.
Well, I moved home and I met Aaron. So,
Right.
and then blah,
Which
blah,
isn't a
blah.
bad thing.
No, it's awesome.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was
So
the
that's a quick backstory.
Well, real quick then, what was your favorite place that you've gone? Like, where would you recommend to go in the world?
Oh my gosh. My favorite city in the world is probably London. I should say Paris, right?
Oh.
But I mean, it's probably, I love London,
Mhm.
but I also love like all the little tiny towns in Italy.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's not the big cities, but the appealing places are like the big museums and,
Right.
you know.
But would you say you kind of like more of the off the beaten path type of cities?
Probably now I would,
Mhm.
then I would probably like the bigger places.
Fair.
But yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, we're glad you came back to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. I love it here.
Good.
I mean, I absolutely love it here. And I worked downtown. I worked at the Dash-In. I mean, we're Fort Wayne people for
Cool.
sure. Yeah.
Did you start getting involved in the city a little bit? Because I know, I mean, we've done a couple of neighbor-link events together.
I mean, not really involved with the city. I just really like Fort Wayne. And,
Sure.
you know, Andrew, NeighborLink, is another CrossFit connection. He's, you know, I just wanted to do things for them, and
Yeah.
that's how that happened.
So then let's talk about this CrossFit thing.
Okay.
What is this CrossFit thing? Like, is it just you wanting to be healthy? Is it you wanting to set an example?
Okay,
like-
so I found out about CrossFit through chef at Joseph DeQuee's.
Mhm.
He now owns Junk Ditch. So Andrew Smith turned me on to CrossFit. He brought me this video one day. We were working, and he's like, check this out. It was Annie Thorisdottir doing Fran.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she's doing like these kipping pull-ups. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is that? I said, no, I could never do that.
Yeah.
Not happening. And he goes, you should just come try it. I really think that you would like this. Because he and I had been running together and biking together and triathlons and stuff. He's like, this is something competitive that I think you'd enjoy. And I was like, well, okay, I'll try it. Free
Wait,
Friend
so,
Friday.
Time out, are you competitive?
Yes, I am very competitive.
So you tried this CrossFit deal.
Yeah, so I went to like Free Friend Friday or like Saturday or something, and just instantly fell in love. Like instantly.
What about it?
I guess probably the variation of movements, things that I had never done before, had never even heard of. Wall balls,
Yeah.
I had never picked up a barbell in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people have. You know, in high school, we never like squatted or anything like that. And so I'd never done barbell movements, which were very intriguing to me. And just the entire mix up of CrossFit. And then also everyone's working together.
Yeah.
but also against each other.
So it's kind of this weird dynamic of you're competing, but
Yeah.
you're also supporting.
Yeah, like so cool, like super fun. Like, what is this?
And so you still do it today, right?
I do. So 5 years later,
Yeah.
yes. And I met friends on that very day that I'm still friends with, Sean
Really?
Sullivan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Sherry Van Zunum, so many. The very first day,
Yeah.
Mallory.
Yeah. And you're still like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
And-
amazing to me. The community to me is crazy. And, you know, how did we meet?
We met through CrossFit.
How did ever, you know, there's,
I'm pretty sure this whole set, minus a give or take.
is CrossFit.
Yeah.
I know.
So
People call it a cult, but it's not.
it's not.
No, I'm sure it isn't.
Whatever. So you still compete even today. I mean, you're injured, I think, is what you said. But
I have a little back problem going
Yeah.
on, but I'm still hoping to compete in the future. And, you know, I do love to compete,
so is it kind of a competitive outlet for you,
for sure.
for sure?
Yeah.
So I remember, I think you and I did a NeighborLink Night Moves race together.
Oh, you think we did?
Oh, I know we did.
Oh, did
I know
it
we
start over
did.
here at J.K. O'Donnell's?
It did start over here at Jake. And what happened to you? You got lost?
Yes.
What's the story here?
Okay,
Remind me.
so, well, you know, I think that was one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
And those races are in the dark, called
Yep.
Night Moves.
Yep.
And so we're just trying to follow this route, and they had cyclists trying
Yeah.
to, you know, help you where to go. But me and two other guys, Sankofa was one of them,
Mm-hmm.
got lost. And so we ran probably,
When you were in first place, right?
yeah, well, yeah. So we ran 4 blocks too many
Uh-huh.
to the south, I guess, and then looped back around. Everyone's like, no, you're going the wrong way, turn around. And we looped back, went through the parking garage, crossed the finish line, and then I went home. I called my mom.
Yeah.
I called my mom on the way home. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't even talk about it. I don't even want to, I gotta go. She's like, why did you call me? I don't know. But you're like, but I remember I was wearing my Metcons, and you're
Yeah.
like, why are you wearing your Metcons? And I was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, shoes, don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. You're. I just remember you being pretty pissed
I was
off.
so mad, which is crazy because who cares?
Yeah.
But it's the competitive nature.
Right.
Like, it's this fun little Fort Wayne race that's just supposed to raise money,
Mm-hmm.
and got all nuts about it.
But then, kind of come full circle, you did come back around. And you finally won a race.
I did.
Later,
I won like the Christmas race at the Funky Park.
which was super fun. That was my favorite.
That
to
was
go do.
really hard.
It was super fun.
God, it was neat.
And then, even more of a full circle, you guys hosted one, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then, kind of being able to give back a little bit.
For sure. That was great. And Andrew said that was one of their biggest races.
Good.
Yeah. So he had everyone run the final lap. Did you run that one?
I did run that one.
So all the way up the garage.
It was
And I held the door
terrible.
open for everyone to the roof.
Yeah. Big smiling face when we're all dead.
I was like, good job, guys.
But no, that was a really fun race. I
That
really
was a
enjoyed
neat
it.
route. Yeah.
And then coming down here and hanging out after. And
Yep. We had like the Night Moves shot. It was like a blue shot
Oh yeah.
with a box of beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like the reward for everyone. So
Awesome. So then, because you gave back to Andrew a little bit, do you kind of make a conscious effort to give back? Because you sit on the board at a local pool. Everything you're saying, you really want to give back to the city.
well, you know, we do live here, and I have kids here, and we enjoy Fort Wayne. And obviously, I want to support everything in Fort Wayne, and we do eat local all the time, and swim local, and try to help our friends. Yeah, for
So
sure.
then, for people that are trying to start things, or like the up and coming generation that really want to retain that local quality, that you love, I love,
Yeah.
like what would be, because you've been through the ringer, you've gone through all these different things, what would be a piece of advice you give to somebody wanting to really do local well?
I would probably say, okay, so a good example of that would be Bo Gonzalez from Bravos. Start small. Start small, and be smart about like your investment, because he started It's just Bravas hot dogs.
Yeah.
He started with a hot dog cart downtown in Freeman Square, a hot dog cart. And now he's got a rail shop, a truck. He's about to open 2 restaurants on the landing. I mean, he's blowing up. He's going to be huge in this city. Well, he is already huge.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Bravo.
yeah. Bravo, exactly.
Yeah.
So my advice would be start small, be realistic, and don't lose hope. Because even though there's a lot of support out there, there are a lot of negative things happening. You know, everybody loves to hate on you, you know, give you bad reviews, crush you in the media, whatever. I mean, we've been really lucky. We get a lot of good press, but obviously we're not telling people about all the crappy phone calls we get and all the mean emails we get. I mean, we're never going to advertise that, like,
Right.
you know. So here's the thing, stay positive, start small, do what you can, be brave every day. Just, if that's what you want to do it. And I mean, you have to be nice and be positive, I guess.
So, kind of segue then, do you think that the next generation, when it comes time for you and Aaron to pass the torch to the next generation of Fort Wayne,
It's like 100 years from now.
still, do you trust the people that are your kids' age to kind of keep carrying the city forward? Do you think we have a
Yeah,
bright future as a
I
city?
do. That's looking really way forward, but I mean, the next generation, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like the people that we're catering to right now, like people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, I mean, I think they're the ones that are so invested in seeing something cool happening in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So I think definitely they'll carry it on.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I think,
that's really kind of the next step.
yeah, I think Fort Wayne is just starting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we're like the very bottom ground here. It's gonna be nutballs.
Awesome.
Yeah. I hope. It is. It's coming. I mean, everything's building. There's a huge building next door, tons of new living space. And there's no doubt.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this whole thing up. You've been all over the world, right?
No.
Traveled.
But I've been some places.
You've been enough. Lived in LA, came
Yes.
back, all that.
Yes.
Started a restaurant in downtown Fort Wayne.
Yes.
Why do you love Fort Wayne? Like, why Fort Wayne?
You know, it's a really good question. I don't know, because Fort Wayne is so, it's just tight. I like my people. I like my friends. I like the community. Not saying you can't find that elsewhere, but I like my mom. I really love having my mom here. I can't say it too many times, but so what does that mean? It means family, right? So it's family and friends. And I hate to also say this again, but CrossFit has been really huge for me. 5 years ago, before CrossFit, I was big into triathlons. It's a real singular sport. You know, you're always training alone, you're swimming in the water alone, you're running alone, you're on your bike alone. And CrossFit is complete opposite. It's all about friends, community, what we were talking about earlier. You suffer together.
Yeah.
It's just,
Breaks down barriers almost when you suffer together.
I think it does actually. I mean, I really never experienced anything like it, ever. And I met just so many good friends. I really never had a lot of friends. I mean, I wasn't sad about it. I just never had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I was always entertaining people in the restaurant, but
never like a tight-knit community.
outside the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's,
So ultimately, if you had
so
to,
in that way, Fort Wayne has really, I just love being here. It's great, it's family, it's inexpensive. There are a lot of stylish people here. Things are happening. The art scene's on it. I mean, it's really just taking off, and I love it here. I do.
Awesome. So, kind of without further ado then, since you really do love this city, and we appreciate you and everything that you've done for the city, starting the Golden, being a good role model above all else, being a great mom, everything that we've talked about.
So you think?
So I think. I don't know all the ins and outs. But
Oh,
man,
I am a great mom.
We really appreciate you and everything that you've done. So we made you this shirt and essentially have dubbed you a local tastemaker.
I love it.
So hopefully you
Awesome.
can wear it proud.
I'll wear
Love
it.
it.
I will.
Wear it to the gym, wear it with your family,
I love it.
wear it here.
Love it.
But we
Thank you.
can't thank you enough for the culture
Thank
that you've
you.
been creating in the city.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and it's great to meet you through CrossFit, and just, you know, your project, that what's happening that you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
And I think this is just another great thing about Fort Wayne. Like, look what you're doing. I mean, this is awesome. Another cool thing happening. So, good job.
Thank you.
Good job, John.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Done. Cool. We're good.